The Nazis are known for cruelty. But there is one part of the story which you may not have heard of. Lebensborn, a secret Nazi project created to increase the number of healthy children. And healthy in this context is not physically, but racially. The Nazis are guilty of various crimes, and Lebensborn is one of them. And of course, one of the most brutal. The literal meaning of the word Lebensborn is fount of life, as in the fountain of life. But what went down there was the opposite. Set up in 1935 in Germany, Lebensborn expanded to several European countries, which consisted of a German population. It even had an option where you could select children who are racially worthy orphans for adoption and care for children born from Aryan women who had been in relationships with SS members. But they took serious measures to make sure to exclude children born from common soldiers and foreign women, as there was no proof of racial purity. That shows how it wasn't really about taking care of children, but more of taking care of racially pure children. The story was that the project was created to increase falling birth rates in Germany, but the real reason was just to promote the Nazi genetics. Here's something that Heinrich Himmler, the main architect of the Holocaust, writes to his fellow members on the 13th of September, 1936. The letter reads,
"The organization Lebensborn e.V. serves the SS leaders in the selection and adoption of qualified children. The organization Lebensborn e.V. is under my personal direction, is part of the Race and Settlement Central Bureau of the SS, and has the following obligations. Support racially, biologically, and hereditarily valuable families with many children. Placement and care of racially, biologically, and hereditarily valuable pregnant women who, after thorough examination of their and the progenitors' families by the Race and Settlement Central Bureau of the SS, can be expected to produce equally valuable children. Care for the children. Care for the children's mothers. It is the honorable duty of all leaders of the Central Bureau to become members of the organization Lebensborn e.V. The application for admission must be filed prior to the 23rd of September 1936.
At the beginning, the goal was to help wives of SS officers. The organization used to run maternity homes, where women could give birth. Surprisingly, they also accepted unmarried women who were pregnant or already gave birth, but not so surprisingly, they ensured these women were racially pure. The data shows that 60% of women in these maternity homes were actually unmarried. These women were not against this program, as this let them give birth, while also making sure people didn't shame them for it. And in case the mothers weren't able to take care of the children, the program also had an orphanage and an adoption center. Because during the 1900s, giving birth as an unmarried woman was considered a taboo and a social stigma, many of these centers were set up in seized homes or nursing homes, which were earlier owned by Jews. There was a group of girls called the League of German Girls, which was basically the girl wing of the Nazi Party. The League consisted of over 4.5 million members because it was made compulsory for every woman to be a part, except the racially impure. Their job was to recruit young women with potential to become good breeding partners for the SS officers. The Nazis believed their race was the elite and one of the best, and their goal was to increase the population of the so-called elite through selective breeding. The Nazis encouraged SS men to marry early and have at least 4 children. Lebensborn provided financial assistance to SS men with large families, but realistically, very few received this aid. There's a story of a girl called Hildegard Trutz, who was a part of the Lebensborn program. In 1936, Trutz got selected as one of the many racially pure women to have children with the SS officers. She was a big follower of Hitler and was a loyal follower of the Nazis. She was a part of the BDM, which is the female equivalent of the Hitler Youth, and made sure to attend all the weekly meetings properly. Trutz became the perfect example of how a Nordic woman should be and was well respected in her area. When she was 18 and finished her schooling, she had no idea what to do. For guidance, she reached out to a BDM leader, and the advice she received changed her life. The BDM leader tells her, if you don't know what to do, why not give the Führer a child? What Germany needs, more than anything, is racially valuable stock. She had no idea about the Lebensborn program, so the BDM leader explained the whole thing. She was extremely enthusiastic and signed up immediately. She knew her parents wouldn't allow her to go through this, so she lied to them that she is taking a residential course. She was then escorted to the castle, where her and other women, along with her, were examined and asked if they had any hereditary diseases. Then Trutz and the other girls were introduced to the SS men, who were to be their breeding partners. There was a getting-to-know-you session, with the group playing games together, watching films, and enjoying social evenings in the castle. We were given about a week to pick the man we liked, and we were told to see to it that his hair and eyes corresponded exactly to ours, said Trutz. Another thing was that none of these girls knew the names of the SS soldiers. Anonymity was taken very seriously in Lebensborn. Once the women made the choice, they had to wait 10 days and be given another medical examination. Trutz became pregnant and gave birth. She saw her baby son for 2 weeks, and then he was removed from her side and taken to a special SS home where he was to be brought up as a loyal servant of the Nazi state. Trutz never saw him again or the father. She was tempted to have more children, so she stayed part of the program for a few more years until she married a young officer. When she told her husband about her part in the Lebensborn program, he was not happy about it, but he could not say anything as she was serving the leader. This story makes it clear about how the people involved had different perspectives for such a cruel thing, and the amount of brainwashing it takes to convince such a huge number of people to be happily involved in a crime is unimaginable. The Lebensborn had multiple centers across different countries in Europe, where the majority was in Germany, with 10 centers, and Norway with 9. Over 8,000 children were born in Lebensborn Center in Germany and over 12000 in Norway. The Lebensborn organization in Norway used to let women give their children up for adoption, but made sure to hide the fact that these children would be sent to Germany. Over 250 adoptions were made, and after the war, Norway could only recover 170 children back to their country. The worst part about the whole Lebensborn project was the kidnappings of young children in the name of purification. In 1939, Nazis kidnapped children from neighboring countries and brought them to Germany for the Lebensborn program. These kidnappings did not go against their morals because they were brainwashed into believing that this was their duty.
It is our duty to take the children with us to remove them from their environment. Either we win over any good blood that we can use for ourselves and give it a place in our people, or we destroy this blood.
The process was simple. The Nazis would divide the kidnapped children into 3 groups: those who they found desirable to be included in Germany, those who were acceptable, and finally the unwanted. The last group of children, the unwanted, were taken to concentration camps where they were either made to work or killed with no regard. If the kidnapped children happened to be lucky and were accepted, they were divided based on their age. Children who were 6 years old were sent to foster homes in Germany. 12-year-old children were sent to boarding schools in Germany. But that doesn't mean their lives were easy either. These children were given German names and forced to be a part of Germany and its way of life. The Nazis forced them to forget about their parents and erased every record of their ancestry. Whoever rejected Germanization were beaten up terribly, and if a child rebelled against the Nazis, they would be sent to the concentration camp for the inevitable. When the war was coming to an end, the Nazis did everything they could to ensure every record and files of these inhumane kidnappings, and every single document or proof about the Lebensborn program was destroyed. The Polish government claimed that over 10,000 children were kidnapped, and hardly 15% of them were returned back to their biological parents. It was hard for the researchers to estimate the actual total number of children that were kidnapped, as all the official documents were destroyed. Dirk Moses, an Austrian scholar who researches on genocide, estimated the number to be around 20,000, but some people claim that the estimate number could be around 200,000.